right, I'm ready.
Ready, go.
Once upon a time, in a tiny forest, there lived a poor woodcutter and his two children, Hansel and Gretel. One day, when there was not enough food in the house, the poor woodcutter pleaded with his two children to go find some berries. As the children left, the woodcutter told them that they could return home only once their baskets were filled with food. Hansel and Gretel smiled, and off they went into the forest. So further into the forest, they walked and walked and walked. The harder it became to see their house. And pretty soon, Gretel became very frightened.
Hansel, what if we get lost in the forest? We'll never see Papa again.
Don't worry, Gretel. I have a plan. We'll leave a trail of breadcrumbs behind us. If we get lost, we'll follow the trail back home.
Okay, if you say so.
And so they walked and walked deeper and deeper into the forest, hoping to find a field full of berries. When nighttime fell and their baskets were full, Hansel and Gretel were ready to return to their home. But when they turned around, they saw that all the crumbs had disappeared.
What happened? Where are all the breadcrumbs?
Oh no! The birds must have been hungry. Oh no, they ate them all.
Now, even more frightened than ever, Gretel began to cry.
Hansel, I'm hungry and cold. I'm scared and I want to go home.
Gretel, don't cry. I'll take care of you. We'll just have to sleep under this tree tonight, and tomorrow we'll find our way back home.
So that night, Hansel and Gretel huddled together for warmth and comfort, waiting for daylight to arrive. When the sun came up, Hansel and Gretel began to wander about, trying to find their trail, the trail that would lead them back to their house.
Hansel, I'm tired and my feet hurt.
I'm tired too, but we have to keep walking. We have to find our house.
And so they walked and walked and walked. They walked until suddenly, they came upon a strange-looking house. As they moved closer, they saw that the house was made of candy.
Look, this wall is made of chocolate.
And look at all this yummy icing sugar.
Starving, the children devoured the candy that was on the house. They were happily enjoying their candy when all of a sudden the door to the candy house swung open and an old lady peered out.
Well, hello, my dear children. Are you hungry?
Yes.
Well, why don't you come in and I'll take you some I'll make you some delicious candy soup. Come on, don't be scared. There is nothing to fear.
So Hansel and Gretel followed the old lady inside her house and into her kitchen. Once inside the kitchen, the old lady locked poor little Hansel into a cage.
Oh, does it?
Ha ha ha. I got you. And I am going to feed you every day until you grow big. Then I am going to eat you. Ha ha ha.
And then she turned to face Gretel.
And you, my little girl, will have to do the housework. I'm getting too old and lazy to do housework. And when all the housework is done, I am going to eat you too.
Lucky for the two children, the mean old lady had very bad eyesight, and she couldn't see very well. Every day she fed Hansel a hearty meal, hoping that he would grow to be fat and juicy.
Here you go. Okay, here you go, Hansel. I cooked you a big ham.
Thank you.
And every day the mean old lady went to check Hansel's finger to see if it had grown fatter.
Let me see your finger.
And every day Hansel would hand out a chicken bone that his sister Gretel had given him. The mean old lady, with her poor eyesight, soon became frustrated.
Okay, I can't take this anymore. You, my little boy, are not getting any fatter. I think I'll just have to eat you anyway, right this instant.
And so the mean old lady ordered Gretel to go warm up the oven.
Gretel, go warm up the oven. We are going to have a juicy little boy for dinner tonight.
Whatever you say, mean old lady.
Gretel walked slowly toward the oven, thinking of what she could do to save her big brother from being eaten. Suddenly she thought to herself,
I know. First I'll pretend that I heated up the oven. Then I'll make the mean old lady check to see if the oven is hot enough. And when the old lady is not looking, I will push her in.
And the phone is ringing.
please turn off your cell phones. And so Gretel went to the oven, and a few minutes later she returned and said to the old lady,
I don't know if the oven is hot enough.
You lazy little child. I'll go and check it myself.
The mean old lady got up from her chair and slowly walked to the oven. As she bent over to peer inside, Gretel gave her a great big shove and locked the old lady into the oven.
Where's my boy? Okay.
Gretel then ran over to her brother and freed him from the cage. The two children stayed there for hours and hours, eating all the candy that they could fit into their tummies. To their surprise, in one of the chocolates, there was a chest full of gold.
1, 2.
Hansel looked inside the chest and counted the pieces.
1, 2, 3.
He then looked at Gretel and said,
We're rich. Let's go home and tell Papa what we found.
and so the children left the mean old lady in the oven, and they ran as fast as they could.
Run.
They ran for hours and hours and hours and hours until finally they came upon their long lost home.
I did it upside down. Sorry. Keep running.
They found their long lost home. They found it.
And there was, yes.
There, and they found both Hansel and Gretel ran into their house and into their father's arms. Hansel then opened the chest and said to his father,
Papa, look, gold coins. We'll never run out of food again.
and so the woodcutter and his two children, Hansel and Gretel,
Be happy.
lived happily ever after.
Yeah.